What's up, everyone? Ever wonder what it would be like to come face to face with a towering, city-stomping monster? Well, today we're diving deep into the epic world of the one and only Godzilla. For over 65 years, Godzilla has been more than just a movie monster. He's become a cultural icon, a symbol of nature's power, and a reflection of our own fears and hopes. So grab some popcorn, settle in, and let's explore how this legendary kaiju came to be, and why he still captivates us today. So let's rewind to Japan in the 1950s. The country was recovering from the devastating impacts of World War II, especially the nuclear bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The wounds were fresh, and the fear of nuclear technology was very real. Enter the Lucky Dragon No. 5 incident in 1954. A Japanese fishing boat was exposed to nuclear fallout from American hydrogen bomb tests, causing illness among the crew. This incident stirred public outcry and reignited anxieties about nuclear weapons. Amidst this backdrop, the creative minds at Toho Studios got to work. Producer Tomoyuki Tanaka, director Ishiro Honda, special effects maestro Eiji Tsuburaya, and composer Akira Ifukube teamed up to create something that would embody these fears, a monster born from nuclear radiation. And thus, Godzilla, or Gojira in Japanese, was born. The original Gojira wasn't just a monster flick, it was a haunting allegory. The plot centers on a gigantic creature awakened and mutated by nuclear testing, wreaking havoc on Japan. But here's the thing, Godzilla wasn't just smashing buildings for the thrill of it. He was a living symbol of nuclear destruction, an unstoppable force, highlighting humanity's vulnerability. The film delved into heavy themes, technological hubris, the consequences of war, and the ethical dilemmas of using science as a weapon. Japanese audiences connected deeply with the film. It wasn't just entertainment, it was a poignant reminder of recent history. Gojira set the stage for the entire kaiju, giant monster genre, and established Godzilla as a metaphor for forces beyond human control. Godzilla didn't stay the same over the years. Just like us, he went through some phases. Let's check them out. Showa era, 1954 to 1975. In these early years, Godzilla transitioned from a terrifying menace to, believe it or not, a hero of sorts. The films became more lighthearted, appealing to younger audiences. He faced off against other monsters like King Ghidorah, Mothra, and Rodan, often saving the world in the process. Who would have thought? Heisei era, 1984 to 1995. Godzilla made a comeback to his darker roots during this time. The films tackled serious themes again, with improved special effects making the battles even more epic. Storylines got more complex, and the stakes were higher. Millennium era, 1999 to 2004. Here, each film was almost like a standalone story, offering fresh takes and alternative histories. It was like a Godzilla multiverse before multiverses were cool. Movies like Godzilla 2000 Millennium reimagined the monster for a new audience. Reiwa era, 2016 present. Godzilla was reintroduced once more in films like Shin Godzilla, which offered a modern interpretation of the creature, reflecting contemporary issues. Plus, with collaborations like the Monsterverse by Legendary Pictures, Godzilla found himself in Hollywood blockbusters like Godzilla, King of the Monsters, battling it out with a new level of CGI spectacle. Ever notice how Godzilla's look changes from film to film? Let's talk about that. Over the years, Godzilla's appearance evolved, from the bulky, scarred monster of 1954 to sleeker, more agile versions. These changes weren't just for style, they often reflected societal issues or the themes of the films. For instance, Shin Godzilla portrayed him as a grotesque, ever-evolving creature, symbolizing uncontrolled disaster. Godzilla's role shifted too. He wasn't always the bad guy. Sometimes he was Earth's defender, taking on threats that endangered humanity. Other times he was a force of nature, indifferent to us tiny humans. It's this complexity that makes Godzilla so fascinating. He's not just a monster, he's a character with his own motives and path. What's a Godzilla movie without some epic monster showdowns? Let's dive into some of his most famous adversaries. King Ghidorah, a three-headed golden dragon from space. Talk about overachieving. Their battles are legendary, often deciding the fate of the world. Mechagodzilla, basically a robot Godzilla. Because when the original isn't enough, you build a mechanical version, right? Destoroyah, a fearsome creature born from the very weapon that killed the original Godzilla, a micro-oxygen destroyer. But Godzilla doesn't always fight alone. He's teamed up with the likes of Mothra, a giant moth deity, to take on bigger threats. These alliances add depth to the stories and show that even giant monsters can have friends, or at least mutual interests. Godzilla didn't stay confined to Japan. The big guy went global. In 1956, the original film was re-edited and released in America as Godzilla, King of the Monsters, with added scenes featuring actor Raymond Burr. It introduced Godzilla to international audiences, and there was no turning back. Hollywood took notice, leading to adaptations like the 1998 Godzilla film. While it received mixed reviews, let's be honest, it wasn't everyone's cup of tea, it showed the character's global appeal. The 2014 reboot and subsequent films like Godzilla, King of the Monsters, and Godzilla vs. Kong brought him roaring back into the spotlight with top-notch special effects and grand storytelling. Godzilla's influence is everywhere, from other films and TV shows to comics and video games. He's been parodied in cartoons, referenced in songs, and has an army of merchandise. Toys, collectibles, apparel, you name it. There's even Godzilla-themed food and drinks. Fans worldwide gather at conventions to celebrate all things Godzilla. It's a phenomenon. While giant monsters smashing cities is undoubtedly cool, Godzilla films often tackle deeper themes: nuclear anxiety and war. The original and many subsequent films are rooted in the fear of nuclear weapons. They reflect on the devastating consequences of war and the ethical dilemmas surrounding powerful technology. Environmentalism. Godzilla has faced off against creatures born from pollution or environmental neglect, highlighting issues like climate change and ecological disaster. It's like Mother Nature's not-so-subtle nudge to take care of our planet. Technology versus nature. Many storylines pit human technological advancements against the raw power of nature, Godzilla. The message? Maybe we shouldn't mess with forces beyond our control. Ever wonder how they brought Godzilla to life, especially back in the day? In the early films, they used suitmation, where actors donned heavy rubber suits to play Godzilla and other monsters. Can you imagine sweating it out in those suits under hot studio lights? Kudos to Haruo Nakajima, the original Godzilla suit actor, who gave the beast his distinct movements. Special effects guru Eiji Tsuburaya was instrumental in crafting the miniature sets, making cities look authentic when trampled. As technology advanced, so did the effects, from animatronics to CGI. Movies like Shin Godzilla blended traditional techniques with cutting-edge computer graphics for a fresh look. And let's not forget the iconic roar. That unforgettable sound was created by rubbing a resin-coated glove along the strings of a double bass. Genius, right? And composer Akira Ifukube's scores added that extra layer of epicness to the films. So why does Godzilla still matter after all these years? His enduring popularity comes from being more than just a monster. Godzilla represents our deepest fears: nuclear destruction, natural disasters, the consequences of our actions, and turns them into stories we can't look away from. He paved the way for future monster movies and has influenced countless filmmakers and artists. Godzilla is studied in academic circles for his cultural and historical significance. Plus, with new movies and projects always on the horizon, like upcoming additions to the MonsterVerse, the legacy continues to grow. The big guy isn't going anywhere, and honestly, we're here for it. From a symbol of nuclear horror to a defender of Earth, Godzilla's journey is as dynamic as it is enthralling. He's a mirror reflecting humanity's greatest fears and aspirations. Personally, I think Godzilla reminds us of the balance we need to maintain with nature and the responsibilities that come with our technological advancements. Plus, who doesn't love a good monster battle? So whether you're a longtime fan or just discovering the King of the Monsters, there's a whole world of films and stories to explore. Dive in, and maybe you'll find your own meaning in Godzilla's roar. Thanks for joining me on this epic adventure. If you've got favorite Godzilla moments or thoughts, drop them in the comments below. Let's keep the conversation going. Big shout out to all the amazing creators who've brought Godzilla to life over the years, from filmmakers and actors to artists and fans worldwide. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it, and hit that subscribe button for more deep dives into pop culture. Follow me on social media for behind-the-scenes content and updates. Until next time, stay awesome.